Alright, good evening everybody, and welcome to round 8 of the North American Grand Prix GT2 Championship. We're back after a little hiatus there for a week. We had a week break, but we're back in the swing of things here from Oschersleben. And before I get started, I just want to welcome Brad Maris. Brad, do you copy? Oh, looks like Brad's stepped away for a moment. But anyhow, we're back here at Oschersleben. Welcome everybody. Great racing in store for you tonight. We have some championship implications in store. We have 3 races left in the season tonight at Oschersleben. Next week, we're going to come to you live from... Where were you next week? Oh, I'm sorry, Imola next week, and then we end the season with Spa. We have 2 rounds at Spa. We have Super Poel on the 27th, and then the following week we have the 2-hour finale at Spa. But I'll tell you what, heading into tonight's race, the championship standings has gotten pretty tight here in GT2. We have Aaron Parsons, who continues to lead the championship. However, his points lead has shrunk in the past few weeks. He's leading the way with 130 points. Nick Johnson, the story last race at Slovakia, notching his first win of his NHEP career here in GT2. With the win at Slovakia, he's moved him to within 5 points of Parsons. He sits at second place with 125. Thiago Canola finished second last week. Still hanging in there in P3 with 114 points. He's got his work cut out for him tonight. However, here at Oschersleben, he's going to be starting in the back after a first lap incident with Juan Monroy at the start of that race. Chris Moses sits in 4th with 112 points. And Canavan, Dave Canavan back in 5th with 88 points. Canavan is not here tonight, so that's pretty much going to destroy his chances, however slim, at a second GT2 title. In the team championship, we got T-Brock Dan Bam, that's Aaron Parsons and John Houston. They're sitting in first with 150 points. Right behind them is Precision Motor Racing, that's Gup Douglas and Chris Moses. They're sitting with 144 points. Adrenaline Taxi Service, Thiago Canola and Greg Myers, they're in 3rd with 134. And 4th, Elite Motorsports at Sol Run. And I'm sorry, Dave Canavan and Christian Hamilton with 132 points. And then 5th, Nisa Racing, that is Nick Johnston and his teammate Sam Rolfe. So, that's the rundown here tonight in the championship standings. Brad, are you back? Brad is still not back with us. But, believe it or not, we've been running GT2 for several years now. And this is one of the stock tracks here in GTR2. And this is actually our first ever visit here to Oschersleben in GT2. So, it's going to be... interesting to see how the guys handle this particular circuit. It's a pretty tight and twisty circuit. There's a tricky chicane there that we're looking at right now. If you're watching the video, you see Nick Johnson just went through there. But that chicane is a pretty fast and tight chicane, but it has a tendency to catch some people off guard. Also, there's a couple fast sweeping corners here at Oschersleben that if you don't hit your marks, you could find yourself into the grass or into the wall. So we'll see how these guys handle this circuit here tonight. Looking to go about 46 laps, and not sure actually if it's going to end on time. The lap times right now we're seeing around 126. We're guessing this is mostly quali pace. Chris Moses leading the way with a 26 flat. Probably see Poel somewhere in mid to low 25s, and race pace for some of the faster guys in the 26s. So it's all a big mystery to us going into tonight, but we'll soon see how things play out. But we're about to end practice 2 here and head over to qualifying in just a moment. So I want to welcome everybody out there who's tuned in, and who've tuned in also throughout the season. Thanks, and appreciate the support. David Poel looking pretty racy here in the Audi. He's currently sitting in P2. David has been quick through most of this season, but has suffered some bad luck. He suffered some bad luck last week at Slovakia, where he was battling for the lead throughout most of the race, and then ended up having an off late and only managed to salvage 1 point out of last week's results. He finished 16th. Nick Johnson managed to pass Poel with a couple laps to go in the race, and after that, Poel's had a little bit of had some trouble and ended up near the back. Marty Urin also leading the race leading most of the Slovakia race, and suffered some engine trouble. Temperatures were pretty high and ended up retiring to an engine failure. So very unusual to see Marty suffer that kind of result, but it happens to the best of them. So Brad, are you back with us? Brad, can't hear you if you're talking. Hit that push to talk button. Looks like Brad's having some mic issues right now. Can't really hear him at the moment. So Brad, mic check.
Yep. I can hear you over the broadcaster. Al, you got me?
Oh, there you go. There you go. We got you now.
Yeah, I didn't have you on comms there for a second, Al. Sorry about that. Hello.
Hey, no problem. Welcome, Brad. Welcome to round 8. Thanks again for joining the broadcast here tonight with your expert analysis. What are your opinions going into tonight's race? This first time visit to Oschersleben.
Yeah, or it's some type of analysis, Al. I'm not exactly sure, but I guess we'll take what we can get, huh? Personally, Al, I love the track. One of my favorites all-time GTR tracks, Oschersleben, Germany. Fantastic, Al. Going to be real tough for these guys to run consistent times around here, especially if we see some of the heat we're seeing now, if we happen to see that in the race as well. Tough to get consistent laps in here, lap after lap. Got some danger spots. The McDonald's chicane always has some interesting moments there, and of course that first corner, real problematic possibly. First lap of incidents, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, Nick Johnson now sitting only 5 points behind Aaron Parsons. What does he also carrying max weight here going into tonight's race? What do you think he needs to do to be successful here and to not let Aaron get too far away, who comes into tonight's race with carrying a bit of weight on his own, but still not as much as Nick?
Sure. Well, you know, one saving grace, again, as you say, is Aaron does have quite a bit of weight himself. Well, the fact of the matter is it's going to be a tough task. Nick definitely has the speed, as you say, just 5 points out of this championship, but but Aaron's got the experience. We're talking a, what, 3-4-time GT2 champion. The guy's no slouch. So, been around a long time. He understands the pressure. Also, what Aaron does really well, and we've seen it in matchups between these guys, is strategize during the race very well. So Nick has had some problems in the pits. Frankly, that's the only thing that's kept him so far from taking over this championship points lead. Yeah, but he's going to have to get a little bit better at that if he wants to duel Aaron Parsons down to the end here and get that championship.
Well, let's see if we can grab one of these two guys.
We had a team that was
Aaron, do you copy?
Chinese team. Hey, Al.
Hey, yep, Brad and Al on the broadcast. Just talking about the championship going into tonight's race. You got a slim 5-point lead over Nick. What is your strategy going into tonight's race, and how are you going to come out of here retaining that championship lead?
I've got lots of weight. He's got lots of weight. So the goal for the next 3 races is just finish as high as it possibly can. We've both got so much weight. It's unlikely that we'll be going for race victories unless there's some extraordinary events like maybe lots of rain or something.
Yeah, well, you do hold that slim 5-point lead there, Aaron. I suspect that your experience will probably play a role. If you happen to win this thing down the stretch, will probably help you out with that. How about the car itself here at this track? Do you feel like it's going to hold up for you pretty well over the course of a whole stint, over the course of the event?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the car. The car is really compared to most cars, it's pretty stable over the aggressive, bumpy curves here. And the same goes for Imola, which is the next track coming up. And it also feels very comfortable in the wet practice. So, feels pretty good around here.
Excellent news, Aaron, and won't keep you too much longer. Good luck tonight, and good luck in the rest of the season and in the championship race. So I know you're heading over to qualifying, and have fun and stay out of trouble.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Brad.
So yeah, we talked about the two guys there at the top, Aaron Parsons and Nick Johnson. Tiago Canola, of course, I'm sure you were going to mention it, Al, hanging just right there in 3rd place. And Chris Moses, not only up there in championship points, but showing some pretty nice speed around here tonight too, Al.
Yeah, he is definitely showing some great speed, and I'll tell you what, Chris is not out of the woods yet. He's sitting in 4th place. He's about 17 or 18 points off of Parsons, who's leading the way. You know how this racing goes. Anything can happen. Guys can run into trouble and end up out of the points. We saw it last race at Slovakia, and you know, he could get lucky and he could find himself in the hunt before the night's through. But it's going to be difficult, however, with the talent that we got running up in the front, as a lot of these guys tend to not make many mistakes.
Yeah, that's right. That's a big part of it. It definitely takes some speed around here if you want to win a championship. It takes a little luck. You can't discount that, but you're absolutely right. It takes a lot of consistency and eliminating those mistakes, and all those guys do a very good job of that, no question.
I want to also commend all the guys who Simbin has been having some lobby issues, and looks like most of the guys got that all sorted out and are now in the server. And we're off to qualifying 1. So Chris Moses, first man on track. I think Chris is liking the way that BMW is behaving around this particular circuit. He was showing some really great pace here in practice, but we'll have to wait and see. Some of these guys like to sandbag a little bit in practice and not show their full hand going into qualifying.
Yeah, well, like myself, I know that Chris Moses is a big fan of this track. I know that he's going to run pretty well here. He got not lucky, let's say, but he had some good fortune there in Hockenheim to come away with that win as we watch him start his timed lap here. But I think for the first time this season, he's really comfortable in this BMW and on this track. So it's a dangerous mix when Chris Moses is comfortable and on a track he likes. Dangerous for the rest of the field.
Conditions are almost perfect. 82 degree ambient, 102 degree track temp. So these guys shouldn't have any problems here. Now Moses going into what's called the triple. It's kind of like a triple apex left-hander, sweeping left-hander. Very tricky corner. And as you mentioned earlier, into the McDonald's chicane. Very fast chicane and very easy to lose the car through there if it's not set up correctly.
Yeah, certainly, Al. And one of the reasons why it's difficult to run consistent times on this track is to make your best speed around here. You have to be really aggressive on most of the corners around here. There's some corners you can stay patient on. A lot of these guys will be running through third gear and carrying momentum through, but in other parts of this track, you must be really aggressive, and it can catch you out pretty easily.
Let's see what Moses slots in here. Looks like it's going to be around 25.6. So very good lap for Moses on board with David Poel. About to complete his hot lap. David probably would like to set here early on. This Mikey Monahan with a 26.2 looking pretty decent here early on. Another guy who was looking pretty good here in practice was Esteban Palacio, Mikey Monahan's teammate.
Yeah, certainly, and a good car for this track as well as Esteban. And I would suspect that 25.6 will be lowered here a bit, Al. Running high 25s. 26 flats here on race pace, so I would expect to see that to go perhaps even a low 25 here for qualifying pace.
So Esteban to P2 with a 25.7, so nice lap by Esteban. On board now with George Alba and the Jag.
I know George has been getting in some nice dedicated practice around here. He's definitely put the time in on this track, and hopefully he's got it dialed in tonight and post a good result.
Yeah, I think George definitely do. It's his first season back after quite a long break for him, but sometimes it takes some time to get yourself reacclimated to driving here, and he's done a pretty good job. I'm sure the results will come soon for him.
Sure, and in all fairness, it should be said that, of course, Chris Moses did drive this Jag last season and maybe didn't have the best results, maybe due to the car, probably, maybe. But so perhaps not the class of the field, certainly a good car, and George will get his hands around it, I'm sure.
Aaron Parsons, we spoke to him a few minutes ago, is currently sitting P7. I should mention Rich Roman currently in P3. He's filling in for the absent David Canavan. So
yeah, like Monahan and.
Go ahead,
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I like Monahan and Esteban Palacio, Rich Roman in a Ferrari as well. Will be a good car around here. It should be noted as well, Andres Prieto is going in tonight for Sam Rolfe. the opposite of Nick Johnston in the Panos.
Yeah, I was just going to mention the same thing as we jump on board here with Nick. Going through
this is going to be a
Hasser Rotor. That's the name of this corner. Setting up for this triple, you want to get as wide as possible. You see guys really swinging out wide here. That's the actual natural racing line. And you see the result there. I believe that's Houston who ran wide. You got to be very careful going through that particular part of the track. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry to cut you off.
well, no, that's okay. I'll just go back to the triple that you mentioned there. That's just a corner there where you want to grab your nether regions there and see how much you can get away with, Al, and that's going to kind of determine your overall lap. That's a big, important corner on this track, and whoever gets through there is going to end up finishing well tonight, assuming that they don't throw it off track into the sand. We will see some of that too.
So Nick Johnston only just over a tenth off Chris Moses' pole position lap.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Al, it's going to be an interesting battle. Nick Johnston, Aaron Parsons battle here. Both these guys are going to...
Go ahead.
No, I saw that time there, Al. Both these guys are going to have to be want to finish as high up as they can and stay out of trouble if they want to keep Chris Moses in sight, keep him from getting too many points.
So Nick Johnston jumps up to provisional pole by 0.003 of a second over Chris Moses. So a great lap for Nick, especially with all that weight he's carrying. That is an incredible job. He's right along with Rich Roman as he runs very wide at the exit of the McDonald's chicane.
Yeah, a great corner, a great mix, so aggressive through the curbs, taking just as much as you possibly can, but on exit there, coming down that long back straight, it's really important to stay patient and get through that corner clean to carry a lot of speed off. Great corner.
Roman was a little over 0.2 off provisional pole. I think Roman could find himself up as he made up a little bit of time. Currently sitting fourth. Don't be shocked if you see Roman on pole here once he gets his a clean lap in.
Yeah, Rich, of course, no stranger to winning GT2 events and fill-in roles, of course. He has, well, at least one or two that I can think of. So no stranger there, and always a great competitor come race time for sure. We don't always get a chance to see him, as he is a Thursday regular. Rich up on that pole time.
He is up big. He's up almost 0.4 going through Sector 1. So he's got one of the Mercedes up ahead of him. Hopefully it doesn't slow him down too much. So Rich in that 458 Italia.
Yeah, and as we ride along with Rich, David Poel has reset fast lap at a 25.3.
Roman checks in here through Sector 2. He's up. Ooh, big mistake by Rich, so that's going to cost him. He had a great lap going there.
Yeah, and that's a really important part of the track as well, so that's one you don't want to mess up.
I'm not sure how comfortable Roman is with this Ferrari. It can be a little tricky to drive, especially in the braking. Rich does not improve, and as you mentioned, David Poel, apparently the pole sitter. A little behind there in Sector 2. Esteban about to complete his hot lap. Making a toll off this Panos here. Actually, I'm pretty sure he will. See where he ends up. Ooh, the second. Great lap by Este. 0.2 off David Pool's lap. So Esteban parks it.
Yeah, and we have quite a grouping there in the 25.6 range there, second through fourth. For those guys, all looking to get down to David Pool's time, and then Ian Jolie Corral jumps up to second place with 25.5.
And Marty Uran right behind him in third with 25.6. So these times incredibly tight. 1 through 8. Aaron Parsons,
Yeah.
no improvement, still back in 10th, so really looks like he is struggling with that Viper and all that weight here tonight.
Yeah, as mentioned, Al, it takes a pretty good lap, a pretty good amount of aggression, right on the edge of making mistakes to turn in your best lap here. I think these guys have still got a little bit more in the bank. We saw Rich up there 3/10 through that first sector, so we know that he's got a bit more.
Parsons about 3/10 off there in sector 1. I have to imagine that Viper's a pretty tough car to drive around without any weight, but with weight on a track like this, I'm sure it could be a handful.
Yeah, and of course it has been improved over previous seasons, Panos as well. But like Aaron said, it will manage that chicane very well in that second sector. I noticed that's where Aaron has been losing most of his time to Nick Johnson in particular. I took a look at that specifically. So they'll want to hit that chicane here nice and tidy one of these times to get in a good lap. But 13 minutes to go, he's going to have to figure it out quickly.
Improvement now, sitting back in 11th. So Nick Johnson has improved. He's up to P2. So let's check further back in the grid. Kurt Chandler currently running in 12th. Andy Gumpert.
Yeah, Curtis not particularly happy with this car. I know I had a chance to talk to them a little bit. Having trouble getting the Gumpert figured out around this place. But Curtis is a gamer. He'll show up for the race, I suspect, and have a chance to post a good result. Yeah, Chris Moses just not quite getting a lap in around here yet. You know, these guys can deal with traffic on this track. It's a relatively short track, and any traffic in front will generally cost you because all these corners are pretty important around here.
Kurt about a second off there, second and change in sector 2. Check it further back.
Tell you guy I'm looking at here on timing and scoring is Kevin Miller, showing currently in a P10 out. The 26-1.
Kevin Miller, he was running good, actually very good last week. He's currently in the pits, but both him and his teammate have been Brian Story. Both him and his teammate have shown some pace in that Mustang this season, and it's good to see those guys driving as well as they are. Simon Goodwin currently in 13th in the McLaren. Simon had a great run last week at Slovakia, starting near the back. He finished in the top 10 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Simon Goodwin coming all the way back up to 9th in that race at Slovakia last week, 2 weeks ago, excuse me, Al.
He's a bit off here in sector 2. Let's check back up at the front. Esteban up to P2. We just caught the end of his lap. Bumps Nick Johnston down to 3rd. Nick, sitting in the pit lane, has been stationary for quite some time, actually. He may be biding his time here. We've seen him do that in previous races.
Yeah, Chris Moses up 2.5 tenths here through sector 1 out. I don't know that Nick Johnston may have much more left. His lap times have been relatively close his last couple times out. Hard to say if he's got any more in the tank or not. And he heads right back out on track. Just coming up, taking a look at Chris Moses' second sector split here, Al.
He's down only 8 thousandths of a second. He can make up that gap here in the final sector.
Boy, time's extremely tight here on this relatively short track. This is going to be some great action here tonight.
So Moses slots in here. Ooh, lost a bit of time in the end there, but jumps up to P2. On board with David Poel.
Yeah, one thing in these guys' favor, there's a lot of opportunity for laps on this shortish track here. Got about 9 minutes left to go in qualifying, so they'll still have a chance to get a couple, 3, maybe 4 more laps in.
Poel trying to get a draft off that Gumper. Ooh. Helped him a little bit there, but still a little 1800ths off his provisional pole lap. Let's see. Marty Uren on board in the Aston. Did not catch his first split, so he is through the second split here, coming up. Marty up over a 10th through the second sector. It's a good lap for Marty. He could be on pole as he nails these last two corners.
Yeah, that Aston should be a good performer here in the last sector, Al.
Very tiny there. A little conservative on that last corner. That cost him a little bit more than it did.
Slower. Yeah, slower can be faster coming around the second part of that chicane now.
Yeah, but a little too slow for Marty as he is still in fourth, but he was on pace for a provisional place. On board with Esteban, a 10th off in sector 1.
So it would take 2/10 for Ian Jolicoeur there, sitting in 7th right now, to take over this pole position, Al. 2/10.
7 minutes to go here. Seems like the track is starting to get a little quicker as a lot of these guys are setting personal best sector times.
Yeah, track temperature has gone up a little bit, but of course, the deeper we get into this session, the more grip we'll add.
Sounded like Esteban had quite a bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner.
Yeah, just on board with Chris Moses there, who threw it off track coming up to the second split. So he's going to go out. He's only going to have a couple more laps to get it done.
So Esteban still in fifth. As David Poel is up 2/10 in sector 1.
David Poel's up. I don't know if you caught it out. Rich Roman has moved up into the third spot with a 25.48.
So Roman.
Boy, these times are tight.
Yep, coming to grips with that Ferrari. Up nearly half a second through sector 2. Looked a little dicey there through that section there. I don't know if he seemed a little hesitant. We'll see where he ends up, if he improves. Ooh, and he does, to 25.2. It's a great lap by Poel.
Yeah, gave up a bit there in the last sector, didn't he? But still good enough to bump that time a little bit, put a little bit more pressure on the guys behind.
Ooh, Ian with a big slide and backs out of it.
Yeah, he'll have to hurry up and get back out there on track if he wants to get his last couple laps in.
Aaron Parson remains moved up a little bit, still sitting in 10th spot. I think he's. I think that's all he's going to be able to get out of that Viper, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, so guys leaving the pits right now will get 2 more laps.
Christian Hamilton currently in P11. About to finish his lap. See if he moves up. He does not. Kevin Miller still sitting in P12. It looks like he's hasn't gone back out. Chandler back in 13th. Litke up in 14th. His teammate 15th. So the Cider Racing boy is doing pretty well here tonight. Johnny Lugnut's running 16th. Salem Montgomery Jr. up in 17th. Continues to improve week after week, so it's good to see.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, back up front,
now
on board with Roman. Go ahead.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, I don't see Juan Monroy in here. I thought Juan Monroy was going to come in and team up with John Solberger here tonight, but apparently I don't see him, so...
I think Monroy mentioned he's going to try and get in Quali 2. Quali 2.
Ah!
Roman back behind 3/10 in Sector 2.
David Poel coming around on the front straight to start his hot lap, what I would assume would be the final of 2 laps he'll get here. Secure that pole position.
Rich moves up to P2. Wow, he made up a ton of time in that last sector, and he's going to stay on it. Wow, he was very close to 25.316 for Roman. Great lap. On board with Poel. He's behind in Sector 1.
Yeah, Rich giving up a full 2.5 tenths there in Sector 2, so that was a great third sector Rich put in.
On board with Chris Moses. Moses behind
Not
slightly.
too tidy there.
Nope. Ooh, Roman. Loses it in the sand.
Well, it doesn't look like he's going to finish any better than right there, so no better than second spot.
David pulls way off his provisional pole. On board with Moses as he goes through the chicane. Ooh, it runs a little wide on exit. That's going to hurt him. Yeah. Back about half a second here. We got a minute and change left.
Now watching timing and scoring now, I see Andres Priet moved into the 25s as well, the 25.8 up to P8.
Uran currently sitting in P4. Esteban does not improve.
Final laps here, Al. I'm wondering if we might see a surprise here in the final lap or two.
Ooh, not for Moses. He's done.
Oh!
David Poel made a mistake. Marty Uran about to complete his hot lap.
Yeah, top 3 are all done.
Ooh, Marty jumps up to 4th. $20 seconds left on the clock. On board with Esteban. Joe LaCour, 7th. Esteban has parked it. Doesn't look like these guys will be able to complete their laps. Ooh, is Andres.
I think Andres had a chance. Aaron might, but yeah, Aaron might. I didn't see us.
Oh,
no, he's done.
Yep, so that's going to do it. I don't think these guys will be able to complete their laps. Let's maybe.
Yeah, Drew's got a chance. This is it, Drew. Come on.
He did it. It does not improve.
Whew. Well, that was some frantic action there, Al.
Certainly
Fun
was.
stuff. Holy smokes. So, yeah, David Poel coming away the big winner here and collecting that championship bonus point.
Yeah, great job by Poel with a fantastic lap of a 25-2. And Rich Roman also in the fill-in role. A 25-316, so both these guys doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, I think Rich had the opportunity to get some pretty solid practice time here the last couple days, and obviously it's helped him out quite a bit. Yeah, good thing for David Poel. You know, the guy started off so strong there for first couple of 3 events. Got a win there at Zhuhai, but has really fallen off since then. So it's good to see. That'll give him a lift.
I'll tell you what, we have a situation brewing here, as looks like Nick Johnston may have dropped.
Oh!
He has. Let's see if he's able to get back in here in Quali 2. I'm not sure what happened to Nick. Monroy is in. Tiago Canola is in, but he's serving a no-call. That's why he has not set a time. But Nick has about a minute 30 seconds here to get back into this one. That would be devastating.
Hopefully Nick does get the opportunity to get back in. That's part of the luck we mentioned there at the top of our show, and I was going to mention as well, Tiago Canola, of course, right in our championship mix, serving that no qualifying for contact there last week. So, yeah, possible shake-up to our points coming. Tight grid, dangerous turn 1, just minutes away.
If Johnson does make it in, he's going to be in the back. Greg Myers just squeezed in here. Wow.
Boy, it's...
You know, I know Aaron Parsons for a long time, and he's the type of guy who'd rather win it on track as opposed to losing it because someone disconnected for some particular reason. I think all the guys are in the same boat as far as that goes.
Well, some guys might say it. I know for a fact that Aaron really means it, and I like you say, I think most guys do really mean it too, but it really is true in Aaron's case. He wants a good, fair battle, and he wants to come out on top. But yeah, he definitely wants to keep it fair, and come on, back in, Nick.
Well, that's a shame.
Still got a few seconds.
Prieto still in there in 8th. It's going to be tight. Not looking good, Brad.
Well, and sometimes, you know, when you lose connection to these servers, some electronics can get kind of messed up, and IPs can get messed up. And,
bang,
oh,
there he is.
He made it back in.
Wow.
Seconds, Al. Wow. Starting from the back, but in, and that is a relief. If you've ever been in that situation, it's always a dangerous moment. Do I reset my all my electronics? Do I try to just get back in? Wow, good job, Nick.
Yeah, you're right. He did make it in just in time, so good on him. And, you know, he is going to start from the back, but I don't see that as a problem for him. He should be able to make up some positions. But nonetheless,
boy, as long as you're
still devastating for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, as long as you're on the grid and in there fighting for a chance, that's enough to make you happy when you get dropped.
Brad, I'll be right back in 2 seconds. I got to tie up some loose ends.
You go tie them up, Al, no problem. Yeah, so once again, for our viewers out there tonight, welcome to Oschersleben, Germany. Looking at a 46-lap main event here. We just finished up qualifying. As most of you have probably seen, David Poel is going to start from the pole position tonight for those 46 laps. He'll be leading Rich Roman and Chris Moses into turn 1 here on the drop of the green flag, the green lights, whatever. So as we saw in qualifying, times are extremely tight. We expect that trend to continue, particularly at the front. These guys are going to be more or less on the limit, trying to turn those fast times and gain some distance from each other, but I don't expect to see that happen. I think we're in for a pretty tight affair over the course of the whole race. These guys will want to be mindful not to make too many mistakes out there. If they do, they're going to lose a lot of time as a result. So for our regular viewers, we've had the opportunity to see Tiago and some of these other guys occasionally stretch those tires out and double stint over the course of the event. Not as likely here tonight. A lot of laps to be run per stint. And a lot of turns out there on a track equal some decent tire degradation. However, as mentioned, the man who's done it plenty in the past, Tiago Canola, will be starting from the back and could adopt another Tiago type strategy here tonight. We'll have to see. So track conditions for our warm-up here. Very pleasant 64 degrees out there. About 80 degrees on track. It's a tight track. It's a good track. It's a track where most of the cars out here should be pretty close together in terms of the possibility of turning equal lap times. So we'll come down mainly to that consistency we talk about a lot and staying out of trouble. Should be noted, David Poel, as we watch him drive around the track here tonight, that Audi R8, as seen, is obviously a good performer on straight speed. Should be good over the course of the entire race too. He'll have to be a little careful at the chicane. The Audi is not real pleasant over the bumps sometimes, but good all-around grip. Pretty good power out of the corners.
I am back, Brad. Thank you. Very fast pit lane entrance as these guys practice their pits. Brad, I don't know if you touched on this, but this opening set of laps here, particularly turns that first corner, turns 1 and 2, can be a little tricky, as well as
particularly with the full field.
Yeah, with the full field and turn 3 as well.
Yeah, what makes it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what makes it so difficult there, Al, is it's just very difficult to pick up the brake point. You know. It's a corner that narrows down, and the normal line there is definitely a single file car. So I'm sure in the drivers' meeting they'll have mentioned try to give some extra room on that start, and you just really have to be patient and look ahead and make sure you have you brake in plenty of time for that narrow entry to that.
Well, that McDonald's chicane as well is a little tricky as. One guy gets out of shape there, that could cause a serious chain reaction. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but
it can. But in terms of running side by side, not too much problem there. Ordinarily, guys understand they have enough difficulty getting through there on the limit when they're just running by themselves. So actually, it's not usually too much of a concern in terms of getting side by side through there. Guys will usually be pretty careful.
All right, as warm-up now winds down, we're about to click over to the race.
Yeah, it should be noted as well as we wait for the race session here that this track can give us some rain, so always a possibility of weather here on this track.
It just feels good to be back racing here again. I know guys like time off, but one break in a season's bad enough, but two, come on, that's too much.
I've been counting the minutes, Al.
Alright, here we go. Ooh, conditions wet, cool and wet. It's not raining, it's sunny, but it looks like it may take a while to dry out as it's not that hot out there. So anyway, starting for Poel, David Poel. Rich Roman, second. Chris Moses, third. Marty Uren starting fourth. Esteban Palacio, a nice fifth.
Yeah, Ian Jolicoeur will start sixth. Mike Monahan put in a nice lap for seventh. Andres Prieto will start eighth. Aaron Parsons sits ninth. Christian Hamilton put in a nice lap for 10th.
Kevin Miller 11th. Kirk Chandler starting 12th. Drew Lidke 13th. Simon Goodwin 14th. And Johnny Lugnutz will start 15th.
Salem Montgomery Jr. starts 16th. John Houston will start 17th and 18th. John Solberger. Gup Douglas starts 19th. And Brian Story is rounds out our top 20.
Mascarelli 21st. Mike Graytrix 22nd. Marco Conti back at 23rd, surprisingly. 24th. George Alba and Chuck Carter 25th.
Gregory Myers got in for Q2. He starts 26th. Juan Monroy got in, starts 27th. David Rowley starts from 28th. And Tiago Canola starts 29th. And Nick Johnson barely made it back in. Good to be here. Starts 30th.
Well, John Watson not with us here tonight. Not sure what his story is, but someone's going to have a word with him. As these guys are really waiting to see what's going to pan out here in terms of track condition because it is wet.
Well, it's wet, and this track is pretty darn slick when it's wet, and these are the conditions that'll befuddle you the most. You take the risk and start on the inters. You take the hard wets and hope it doesn't get too much hotter. Yeah, boy, they got a choice.
Well, it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to put my money on Rich Roman here to take the win.
Rich Roman, I got to go with the experience of Chris Moses. Well, David, okay, well, here we go.
And we're off as David Poel jumps out to the early lead with Roman taking a look on the outside, going into one, but Roman really taking it easy there under braking. Ooh, Rich runs way wide off off into the grass.
Yeah, I got a few cars off there in the back, Al.
Yeah, a bunch of traffic way in the back. A couple more guys. David Poel continuing to lead this race. However, Chris Moses is all over the back of him, going through the triple.
Boy, that Alpina is going to be very good in these conditions, Al. Assuming that it doesn't get too hot too fast.
Huge gap between, looks like 5 through 6 is a huge gap between these guys.
Nick Johnston already up to 19th, Al.
Andres Prieto had a bit of a problem. He's fallen back to 25th, as Palacio as well, back at 26th. Tough break. Carter.
Yeah, indeed, Al. I'm wondering.
Monahan as well, and Christian Hamilton. All these guys, looks like they've had some issues at the start. Great tricks as well.
Yeah, all guys
at
that
30. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, all those guys were guys that started up generally toward the front, too, so I'm wondering if there was some type of contact there. I just wanted to mention real quick for our George Alba fan. George Alba running into points and in 16th at the moment.
Well, that Jaguar is going to be a great car here in these conditions.
Oh, boy. Oh boy. I'm not going to say they're dropping like flies, Al, but have a few people struggling with the conditions.
Greg Myers, he's got some serious front-end damage to that Porsche. Canola back at 26. His car looks pretty clean, however, he's still sitting back. He might have some problems. Possibly incorrect tire choice or what.
Oh, the Marty Uren has gone around, Al.
Salem Montgomery Jr. up to 5th. Wow. Kevin Miller running 6th. Simon Goodwin 7th. Johnny Lugnut's currently in 8th. There's a lot going on here, folks.
I got to tell you, this is there is a lot going on. I just don't know how much practice these guys have gotten in the wet here, Al. I'm really surprised to see so many people having so many problems. I got to assume a lot of these guys might have gone for the intermediate tires, and boy, this track is slick. It's going to be some slow going. They're finding that out.
Kurt Chandler has a bit of a spin. He's back on. Yeah, Canola rejoins right behind him. I'm sorry, yeah, catches Kurt as he's coming back on track. So Canola back at 27. So it looks like he's suffering from poor tire choice. Meanwhile, up front, looks like Poel has not made an incorrect choice, as he is running pretty good times here in the wet. Chris Moses hanging on to the back of him, not letting him get away. And Ian Jolicoeur.
The track has gone to damp. Al, I do not see. I see Aaron Parsons back there in 18th, well back of the field, and Nick Johnston is ahead of Aaron Parsons now, running 14th.
Chris Moses has gone off and now finds himself back and forth. I was wondering what happened to him. We saw him go off, saw a bunch of sand blow up, and he's off track. Wow. So even the vets making some mistakes here.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah, boy. Whew. We'll have to take a second and wrap our heads around and see what kind of tires these guys might be on. I suspect Chris Moses may be on the hard wets and was just pushing a little too hard, gotten a little hot.
Ian Jolicoeur now battling with David Poel. He finds himself in second after that. Moses off.
Yeah, well, that's going to still give some breathing room to David Poel, I would think. I should think that he would rather have Ian behind him as opposed to Moses, but I could be wrong. Boy, there's a lot going on. Thiago Canola did advance his position. Oh, Marco Conti out with suspension now. Marco Conti out of the race.
Tough break for Marco. Meanwhile, Johnny Lugnutz finds himself in P6. Solberger up to 7th. Huge train of cars behind Solberger. Wow.
Johnny Lugnutz, the Rainmeister.
John Houston up to 8th. Not sure what's up with Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons had some type of contact out there, didn't catch it out, but of course he has dropped back some, as you say.
Yeah, he's back at 17.
Well,
his teammate, however,
yeah,
up in 8th spot.
Yeah, indeed, and Brian Story running just behind his teammate John Houston there in 9th. So Brian Story having a very good run here early.
Marty got on the inside of, looks like that was Kevin Miller. I'm sorry, Brian Story, and hustled his way to take pass for that position. Rito running in 10th.
Yeah, Andre's getting shuffled back early, but also regaining some spots now.
Ooh, as Solberger runs wide. So is Story. He's way off.
So, yeah, we'll keep you updated as well as we can. Guys dropping back, and then reclaiming positions on guys going off in front of them, and and pretty chaos. We know for sure David Poel still leads this race. But gaps quickly opening up there after 4th place. Chris Moses getting back on and engaging the hunt.
Brian Story continues to struggle a little bit as Monroy in the Camaro looking to get past David Rowley in the Ford GT. This could be hazardous. Ooh, Story runs wide, gets onto the grass, and it's going to lose that position. Ooh. Looks like Greg Myers, not sure if he got hit or he just, ooh, we got some guys spinning all over the place here.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if these guys are on the hard wets and are really struggling with the heat, or if they're on the intermediates and struggling with the damp. It's really hard to say, but would have thought that these guys would have gotten a bit more rain practice in here with the potential for this type of weather.
Well, I think if as Roman has now moved up to P2, I think if the condition was wet and raining, it would have been a different story. But we've seen many times where races start off wet, sunny out, and it'll immediately go to damp or just stay wet. So some of these guys, like you said, gambling on tire choices, I think that's what's costing a lot of these guys. Back in 3rd. Chris Moses still running 4th. Kevin Miller in the top 5 in that Mustang. He's got Marty Uren chasing him down.
Yeah, we'll see. We've seen some of these guys in positions up there they may not expect to ordinarily be. Let's see if Kevin Miller can do a little bit better job than some of these other ones we've seen up there and hold it together a little bit better, keep it on track.
That's the beauty of rain races, is you see some guys, looks like that's either Great Tricks or Kurtz with a puncture. But these rain races, you'll see a lot of guys who may not necessarily run up front, find themselves in positions they don't expect, like you said. That's what you see here with Kevin Miller running the top 5, so good on Kevin.
Yeah, and another guy that generally runs pretty well in the rain, Johnny Lugnutz. Of course, he was up well into the top 10, but made a mistake out there. Now runs in the 10th spot with Aaron Parsons trying to hunt him down.
Well, John Houston running at P7. You got Solberg as one of the McLarens comes out of the pit lane. Looks like he went in to change tires. Solberg.
Actually, now.
Go ahead.
Now that I look at it, Al, Aaron Parsons has gotten back by Nick Johnston, who is now in 13th. Aaron Parsons in 11th, Nick Johnston 13th, so those guys still swapping position.
Ooh, as Nick spins it. So Nick now finds himself losing more spots. He's back in 15th, so this weather is catching a lot of these guys off guard.
Boy, it sure is. I know Nick didn't have a chance to get a whole lot of practice in this week, and to get that Panos around, you have to loosen it up, and it may have gone a little too loose for the wet conditions. Not sure on that, but it's a possibility.
Rally now running in 16th. Hamilton continuing along at 17th. Brian Story 18th. Tiago Canola now up to 19th. Looks like Canola, the conditions may be working out for him now if he started on Inters. Andre's now back at 20th. Not sure what happened to Andre, but he's falling back.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. Rich Roman is making inroads on David Poel, and pretty rapidly here as well. Picked up about a second here in the last couple 3 laps. Definitely on a better pace, so be it tires or what have you, Rich Roman making a charge for the lead.
He and Joe Lecor not too far behind as well. So right along with Roman.
Yeah, I'm taking a look as we watch Right Around with Rich. I'm taking a look at Chris Moses' times. I got to think that he did start on the hard wets, and they're simply failing, getting too hot on him.
One of the
Ground
McLarens loses it. I believe that's the McLaren. He might have gone and changed to softs or dry tires a little too early here as he's struggling. It's the second or third time we've seen him spin.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to keep up with that, as well as some of these guys. I see Johnny Lugnutz is into the pit there. He came in from 20th. Tiago Canola, I've been taking an eyeball on timing and scoring. Tiago Canola has not picked up a lot of spots here in this frenetic action we've been having. So Tiago Canola running 17th currently.
So Marty Uren has gotten by Kevin Miller, who's currently sits in 6th spot.
Yeah, in the meantime, we have a whale of a...
It's about 10 seconds between Miller and Solberger, who's run 7th. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was just going to give you a quick update on 10th through 12th. These guys are having a whale of a battle. John Houston in 10th, Mike Monahan 11th, and Juan Monroy in 12th.
Simon Goodwin now running up to P8. Should mention that this we see a lot of guys coming out of the pit lane. It's a tricky pit exit here. These guys got to really be on the ball when they're exiting the pit lane.
Yeah, no doubt that'll have been covered in the drivers' meeting as well, Al. And quick update for our George Alba fan. Unfortunately, George Alba has taken a DNF after running so well early. George Alba out.
As Uren, he had lost it. I believe one of the I believe that's Lugnutz who got into the back of Uren, and there are pieces everywhere. Wow.
Well, not the kind of action we were looking forward to, Al. It is action, but not exactly what we were hoping to see. About the same time, Simon Goodwin also got a nice whack in the rear as well. Managed to hold on to 8th spot.
Greg Myers has gone off. So Marty is missing his rear wing, so he's going to have to bring that in for service. As you can see, he's going to have his hands full getting that thing back into the pit lane.
Yeah, of course, Marty Uren and Ian Jolicoeur, teammate Ian Jolicoeur, championship team winners last season, not running as well this season, unfortunately, and that's going to hurt him yet more. Kevin Miller into the pits, Al.
So an ugly start to Oschersleben here. These conditions catching these guys off guard. Kurt Chandler struggling in that Gumper back in 21st. Lou Mascarelli back in 22nd. It's like it's Parsons looking to get by. Palacio, Monahan, one of the two, and Nick Johnson. They all get by without an issue. Johnny Lugnutz, into the pit lane. He's missing his entire front end of that Lamborghini.
Oh, and he had just pitted. He had just pitted and left the pits. Just watching Kevin Miller come into the pits here as well. He's just now leaving, Kevin Miller running up there well. Maybe wanted to come in and change some tires, but this is a guy with maybe not a lot of experience running up there for that type of position. Sometimes you just have to struggle and battle out there. I don't think he'll be able to make fuel from here, Al, so that could hurt Kevin Miller in the long run.
Yeah, you're going to have to question that decision. Not sure if his tires were overheating or what, but yeah. We'll have to see where he ends up.
Boy, I'm watching timing and scoring here, and both Rich Roman and Chris Moses and Ian Jolicoeur's into the pits. All those guys have really slipped off of David Poole's bumper here. David Poole's the only guy out there running consistent, clean laps, lap to lap, and we see all these guys behind him just simply making mistakes. Really strange to see out of some of these veterans, Al.
Yeah, Roman looks like he lost a bunch of time to Poel, who's currently up front. Chris Moses now missing his front clip. Didn't see what happened, but wow, he's going to have to bring that in as well. Unbelievable turn of events here.
It's really strange. Really strange, Al. I mean, these veterans have a lot of experience in these types of conditions and know sometimes you can't push no matter what, and to see so many of them having so many problems is really befuddling.
Absolutely.
Drew Lidke out with suspension damage, Al.
Chris Moses stays out. I don't know if he knows. I mean, the condition of his car.
Oh, he knows.
Well, you gotta wonder.
No, he knows.
Must not be hurting his the handling all that much, I guess. Who knows? But
no,
it's strange to see him.
He's trying to stretch it. No, he's trying to stretch it to make it to his fuel window, Al. He figures he's going to lose less time making it to his fuel window, get the damage fixed as opposed to coming in twice. So he'll be pitting in another lap or two, I'm sure.
Well, Solberger has stayed out, and he finds himself currently in 4th. And Parsons now in the top 5. We talked about luck for some of these guys in the championship hunt, and yeah, this is playing right into Parsons' hands.
Indeed, Nick Johnston into the pits here, Al.
Mikey Monahan running 6th. Goodwin 7th. Rally now up to 8th. Houston back at 9th. Andres now up to 10th.
What a yo-yo ride for these guys.
It is, and the 2 Porsches of Canola and Greg Myers running 11th and 12th.
Brian Story is out of this race, Al. DNF.
On Monroy, early in 13th in that Camaro. Esteban Palacio on 14th. And they're dropping like flies. Now Kevin Miller, after pitting, comes back out 15th. Chandler running 16th. Escarelli back in 17th. I believe that's Mikey Monahan who's gone off. Joe LaCour, after pitting, is out in 18th. Marty Uren is suffering some kind of trouble. He's back at 19th. Nick Johnston back at 20th. Gup Douglas 21st. Gup running a quiet race. Pretty clean looking car. Doesn't look like he has that much damage or any damage on that thing. He's running his own race. Chuck Carter back in 22nd. Now Lugnuts finds himself in 23rd. Matrix 24th. The rest of the field is either crashed out or DNF'd for one reason or another.
Yeah, so Chris Moses into the pits here on lap 12. Boy, that's a long way to stretch fuel there. 46 laps, so another 34 to go here thereabouts. But apparently it's doable from this spot.
So we're working lap.
A lot of spray.
We're working lap 14. David Poel has a 6-second lead over Roman, and then it's 46 seconds back to Solberger in 3rd. So Poel is really driving an incredible race here tonight, staying out of trouble, and just laying down some great laps.
Yeah, his lap times are very consistent, but more than anything else, like you say, he's just kept it on track. And that's really the first best way to improve your position, is just not to throw the darn thing off track, and like we've seen so many others do. And of course, there has been some contact out there, not necessarily anybody's fault, but just the nature of the deal, people spinning off. So good job, David Poel, thus far.
So Solberger and Parsons running 3 and 4. Now Goodwin up to 5th. He has yet to pit. He stayed out. Houston as well, now running 6th. Rito now up to 7th. Canola now up to 8th.
I was taking a look at the timing and scoring there, taking a look at the John Solberger there in 3rd. You know, his lap times are really not too far off some of the guys around him. I think John Solberger, if he keeps it tidy here, gets into the pits, could find himself running very well when he comes out.
We haven't talked about Solberger much this season, but started here in GT2 a few races back. Once he found out the Camaro was in the car pack, being a Camaro owner, he felt the need to drive it in GT2. So here he is, and you know, a few seasons back he raced in GT1 and did quite well. Took a break for a number of seasons, came back. And John's definitely got a lot of pace. You know, he can run well as long as he stays out of trouble and keeps the car on track. He does pretty well for himself.
Well, I actually mentioned him there toward the top of the broadcast. This is a guy that does well generally, just with amount of laps. Amount of laps equals performance generally, and I know John has gotten good solid practice in this week, and it's showing.
So now the lead. Almost 10 seconds over Roman, who runs in second. Working lap 15. About 26 minutes into this race.
Yeah, closing in on halfway, and Thiago Canola has been benefited quite a bit by some of these guys going off in front of him. He finds himself running 8th, has yet to make a stop, however, but still solid ground made up from Thiago Canola from the back.
Well, here we go again, Brad. We know how long Canola can stay out with that Porsche. Conditions
well,
being
obviously,
as they are, should it stay like this? Should it stay damp? What do you expect? Do you think he'll do the old double stint once again? And
yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and nix that option right now. There's no way Thiago will be able to get away without taking tires this particular race.
You're going on the record with that, okay?
I'm going on the record, Al.
All right, well, we shall see.
Let me just say this: it'll be a mistake if he does.
Ooh, as Moses goes off again! Wow.
Amazing.
Back on track.
Having
back and forth.
Having driven around this track in these type of conditions before, Al, I can tell you that it's more or less a nightmare. The inters aren't going to give you any grip. The soft slicks aren't going to give you any grip. But you just have to, however slow you have to go to make it around this place without throwing it off track is what you have to do. And Moses should know way better than to be thrown off track like he is.
Looks like Salem reporting from the pit lane. He was running 4th and he crashed. His game crashed, so that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that, Salem. Canola making the move on Goodwin for 5th. Makes it stick, so Andres looking very racy here late in this first stint, all the way up to 5th.
Andres, a guy that didn't get a lot of practice here in that substitute role, but always generally a guy that will get faster as the race goes along.
Well, Aaron Parsons continues and finds himself at P4. Solberger now up to, well, still in 3rd spot. Have to keep an eye on that pit window as David Poel now has stretched his lead out to over Roman now to 11 seconds. So David Poel is really making a statement here tonight at Oschersleben.
Yeah, just checking on timing and scoring and the guys that have come in for slicks. I think that there's a changeover period going on about now. I think these slicks are starting to come in. And will continue to get faster from this point on. Indeed, some of the guys on slicks now about 2 seconds faster than David Poel's last couple laps. But like any other time in these interchangeable conditions. You know, you'll get a lot of grip right on the racing line, which is difficult to maintain around this track, to stay right on that line, but have just like ice when you get offline. So these guys will struggle with that as well.
So Rich Roman, so you suspect these guys went out on slicks rather than intermediates, as the conditions are still damp here.
Yeah, I should think everybody that has come in since lap 12 or 14 has probably at least tried the slicks, maybe not had success, but I can see now from the lap times that the slicks are starting to work a little bit better. I can only assume that they had moved on to the slicks.
Esteban now running in P8. And Monahan right behind him, his teammate running in 9th. Greg Myers. Tell you what, the front of that Porsche, as you can see, is seeing better days. And the left front is really concaved. Ooh, as both Monahan and Palacio go off. I don't know if they were racing for each other or what, but both of them find themselves in the weeds.
Yeah, Gregory Myers, the big beneficiary of that, now running 8th in front of him. Simon Goodwin may have been behind that battle as well. He's now running 7th.
So Houston running in P11. I'm not sure if Houston has, I believe he has pitted David Poel, about to put him a lap down. And Poel has lapped all the way up to P12.
Yeah, most of this field's going to get lapped here tonight, unfortunately.
Mose is back at 13th. Kevin Miller now running in 14th. So Miller was running behind Moses when he pitted, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still running behind Moses now, but we'll see how this plays out for Kevin. He may find himself in the top 10 before the end of the night.
Yeah, Chris Moses now with the 29.7, fastest lap of the race thus far, so those slicks are starting to work. Chris Moses really wouldn't have had a choice but to change onto the slicks. Well, he got that front splitter repaired. He was going to have to go the rest of the way, so good indication there that these guys are changing over to the slicks.
Nick Johnson back at 20th, just ran a personal best lap of the race, 29.316. So Nick Johnson laying the hammer down. Esteban in the pits. Rally back at 15th. Joe LaCour running 16th, right behind him. You're in 17th.
Esteban Palacio has come into the pits and has exited after that synchronized spin with his teammate.
Mascarelli 18th, Nick Johnson right behind him at 19th. So Nick Johnson is desperately needs to get into the points here tonight. He can't afford to leave tonight without scoring any points if he wants to win a championship.
Yeah, indeed, you're absolutely right, Al. Another guy looking to pick up some points here tonight, John Solberger, has consistently pulled away from Aaron Parsons here over the last 4 or 5 laps. And can't say he's gaining ground on the couple in front, but his lap times are still very solid. So John Solberger is going to get in and out of the pits here, and he's going to be fighting for a top 5, I think, Al.
Kurt Chandler just left Parsons by. Douglas back at 21st. Lugnuts 22nd.
David Poel into the pits, Al.
Poel pits. We'll keep an eye on David. Just 1 second. Chuck Carter 23rd. And Greatrix into the pits at 24th.
I always interrupt your field rundowns there, Al.
That's all right. It's fine. Roman now also pitting. We'll see how if Solberger decides to pit. He's got one of the Mercedes right behind him. Looks like Solberger's going to stay out.
You know, there aren't too many guys behind him. Yeah, there aren't too many guys behind him that are going to pick up a whole bunch of time, so as long as he doesn't stay out more than another lap or two, he'll still be okay. But hey, you know, you get a chance to lead one of these NAGP events, by God, you should go ahead and take it.
Parsons up to second. And now David Poel exits the pit lane in P3. Roman now exited the pit lane. Thiago Canola just passed him for fourth. So these early pit stops for some of these guys are going to make some things really confusing for us. We don't know if some of these guys are going to be able to make it or what.
Yeah, you know, Thiago Canola set a 1 minute 30 lap, which is actually quite good, but there's no way he could have started on the slicks in the wet. I don't think there's any possible way. He had started off running 134s.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was really struggling early on in this one, and who knows? He could have done that.
I don't think there's any way. You'd have to be like, you know, dim or
Crazy.
genius, one of the two. It just would have been impossible to keep it on track.
Solberger stayed out yet again, so he continues to lead this one. It's nice to see Solberger up front.
Yeah, indeed. His lap times are going to start to hurt him relative to the guys that were behind him. He had some 10 seconds or so. He'll want to pop in here ASAP.
His last lap was a 34.1 compared to David Poel, which was actually 41.1. So I think Poel looks like he made a mistake.
Yeah, it's part of the timing on the out lap, I believe, Al.
Yeah, I think you're right. My timing is just has yet to refresh.
Yep. Though, I did see Thiago Canola go in front of David Poel, so he may have just made a mistake. Getting used to that, the slick rubber.
Yeah, you're right, because Canola came out just ahead of Roman, and I think you're right. I think I might have been on to something there. I think Poel did make a mistake.
Indeed, Al. It looks like you might have called it correct. Now, I don't know that Rich is going to have the...
What? Go ahead.
Every now and then. Yeah, well, I was just taking a look at this battle for first place. Rich Roman did pick up some time there with that David Poel mistake. However, I think as the track continues to dry, David... I think David Poel will have a little bit of pace. I was just getting to that, Al. Thank you.
And Canola stays out. Canola assumes the lead of this one.
He couldn't have started on slicks. Well, if he started on slicks, it was a mistake. No matter how it turned out.
Well, seeing where he started this race from the back of the grid, it might have been a gamble he was willing to take.
Ah, boy. Yeah.
Ooh, as one of the McLarens goes off and comes out right next to Roman. That was a tight one. Looks like Parsons beats Solberger out of the pits by a wide margin. By about 10 seconds.
Yeah, Aaron Parsons. Yeah, Aaron Parsons, no stranger to quick pit stops, and aided a bit by John staying out a couple extra laps. But in any case, that's still a nice position for John. He's going to be hanging right until the end here.
So rally there off on the grass. So it looks like Poel is now gaining some ground on Canola. comes out. Greg Myers re-entering the race. Andres running at fourth. Do we know if Andres has pitted yet or not?
Andres has not come in for his regular service yet. However, his lap times are pretty darn good, hanging around the low 1 minute 30 range. Scratch that, Al. I see a 1 minute 58 lap here for Andres. Actually, Andres may have come in for service. And, boy, I don't know where that lap time came from. It's not long enough to take tires.
Well, after all the pit cycling now has shuffled through, Chris Moses now finds himself in P5. Monroy back at 6th. Larson 7th. Solberger's in 8th. Now Kevin Miller in the top 10. He's running 9th. And Esteban in 10th spot.
Yeah, Chris Moses did turn some very fast laps. He gained back a little bit of ground. He lost those couple laps without a splitter to the lead, but still a good 25 seconds off David Poel.
Right along with Greg Myers here as Dave Rowley just made the pass for 12th spot.
Now,
Myers taking a much tighter line than Rowley through that triple.
yeah, a lot of different lines to take around here, Al, which also we got a couple guys in the pits, Andres Prieto and Juan Manuel. So, really interesting to see Nick Johnston still back there in 17th, Al.
Andres rejoins right ahead of Esteban as Mikey Monahan goes off in turn 1. Esteban trying to take advantage of Prieto on the cold tires, and he makes the pass.
Yeah, Andres will want to be careful for a couple
Esteban
laps, but he's not going to.
Wide. That's hello. Well, looks like Essie's going to hang on to it.
Yeah, switching over, it's surely mostly dry by now, but coming out on that switchover, going right to the slicks, sure want to feel it out for a couple laps.
Still looks very wet. A lot of spray coming out, coming up off the track, especially offline.
Yeah, and we mentioned the different lines to take, and that can certainly catch you out. You really have to stay on that groove and kind of disregard your favorite lines sometimes.
So David Poel has gotten past Thiago Canola for the lead. Canola continues to run at P2. He's got Rich Roman reeling him in.
Boy, what a race, what a shakeup. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to see our broadcast numbers have swelled so dramatically here. I'm sure we're picking up some of the former competitors in this race. bad luck to you guys tonight. Get back out there and get them next week.
Roman now all over the back of Canola. Take a look on the inside.
Yeah, again, I should think David will have a better pace as the track continues to dry here than Rich, but he's still going to want to get past and try to put as much heat on David Poel as he possibly can.
Tell you what, I've watched Rich go over that chicane a number of times, and it always looks like he's hanging on to it for dear life when he goes over that.
He might be.
Chicane, yeah. He's crossing his fingers and toes every time he goes through that. Roman takes a look on the inside, ooh, and he makes it stick. Nice pass by Canola. Canola really didn't put up much of a fight. Got about 15 minutes left in this one. Here at Oschersleben tonight. It's been a incredibly hectic race from the start. Adverse conditions caught a lot of these guys off guard. Really sorry.
Boy, it has to be
the field.
Yeah, well, shuffles back and then shuffles back up and shuffles back down again. Nick Johnston's a good point. So slashing through traffic there early, starting from the back on that rejoin in Q2. Went back, came back up again, and now finds himself back there in 17th yet again. Well, main rival Aaron Parsons is up into 5th after struggling and getting put down to 20th early on. It's just been one of those races, Al. It's been a lot of work. It's been enjoyable to watch, though.
Andres now putting the pressure on Esteban. Esteban got by Andres on the exit of his pit stop. Made a nice pass on Andres, but has not been able to shake him. Andres hanging on.
Being long time.
Mercedes, go ahead.
Yeah, being long-time teammates with Andres, I could tell you, just give him a rabbit to chase out in front of him, and by God, he's going to match that speed, pretty much whatever it is.
Nick Johnson, last lap at 27.8. Nobody's even close to that, so he's flying, but he still finds himself way back at 18.
And I've been watching Nick, been keeping an eyeball there, and I can tell you that I was surprised not to see him moving up more positions, but then I kind of saw some of the guys in front of him. You got Marty Uren, John Houston, Simon Goodwin, Juan Monroy. All these guys have speed. They just find themselves a little bit back in the pack than where they're used to. So John's going to have a tough time picking up some of these positions I see he just did. Oh, no he didn't. I'm sorry.
On board now with Nick Johnston. He's really laying down some great lap times, but unable to improve his position.
Yeah, and like I say, Marty Uren in front, really not too far off those times. John Houston, not so much either, really, and same goes for Simon Goodwin there in 14th. So time's running out here for Nick. He's going to want to recover those points. He's still out of them, not picking up one single championship point as they run.
On board with Ian Jolicoeur, currently running at 18th. Behind Nick Johnson. That comes up ahead, lap down. Looks like one of the McLarens has just gone into the pit lane. I'm sorry, that was Mascarelli in the Lambo.
Just taking a look at the points here and how they might get shaken up a little bit here. Nick Johnston back and Aaron Parsons, of course, quite a ways in front. Tiago yet to make some type of stop. Yeah, Chris Moses is really going to be able to advance his positions here, and is really going to tighten this thing up. Aaron Parsons will extend a little bit, but those points are really going to tighten up, and David Poel will really find himself inserted back into this championship mix, assuming he can pull off the win here tonight.
Yeah, he is really looking strong ever since the drop of the green flag. But I'll tell you what, Roman's starting to creep up on him a little bit here. Gap is now down to 6 seconds, 6 and change.
Yeah, Rich now into the 27s as well.
Canola now finds himself about 12 seconds back of Poel, third. And gap to Moses, between Canola and Moses, about 18 seconds. And then there's a huge gap. There's a huge gap between Moses and Parsons, who's a minute 9 behind Poel. So I think.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that.
Ahead.
You're going to mention the same thing I was, Al, that Thiago doesn't necessarily look to give up too many positions, even if he started on the intermediates. I think he's still on them, Al. You know, this guy may be able to just stay on those things and still retain that 5th spot potentially. So.
Yeah, I think he'd come out. Oh, he's third as we run, but his pit stop will probably. Moses will most likely jump him on the pit stop, and he should come out ahead of Parsons for 4th.
Yeah, Chris Moses will jump him regardless, but figure about maybe 40 seconds fuel only, thereabouts, total bogey time through the pits. So I have a bit of a lead on Aaron, I should suspect.
This battle now for that 6th spot is really heated up because these guys have caught up to Solberger, who runs in 6th, and now it's a 3-way battle between Solberger, Palacio, and Andres. This could get interesting.
You know, it can, but Aaron Parsons has not gone anywhere away from John Solberger, so I think, John, all these guys may have pace on Aaron Parsons as well here down the stretch.
Ooh, Palacio runs wide, and he's off in the sand. He gives that spot away to Prieto. Now, takes a little more heat off Solberger, but he's got Prieto to deal with.
Yeah, and of course, Andres will have pace on John Solberger. But both these guys are going to catch Aaron Parsons, so as we wind down laps here, Aaron's going to be fighting with these guys for each of these positions as they try to come through.
Yeah, Parsons as well. I'm sorry, I thought that was Houston up ahead of Solberger. I was wrong. That is Aaron Parsons with his hands full. As Palacio, take a look where he is. He didn't lose too much time. He ran wide, but he's caught right back up to these guys. Through the chicane. Mikey Monahan hanging back there as well.
And I'm just kind of sitting back enjoying this action, Al.
This is going to be a great fight here to the end. With Solberg, a little bit of a bobble. Andre takes a look on the outside. Might have got, Palacio side by side. Going to take a look in the turn. Final corner on the inside. Oh, and he takes it. Nice pass.
Yeah, nice and clean. Yeah, nice and clean from those guys. Yeah, you know, Aaron can afford to be a little careful here in terms of overall point strategy, I think. He's not going to be giving up too much, so I don't know how much he's going to fight these guys for position, but as the closer we get to the laps winding down here, the more he's going to want to fight for that position. So these guys will want to try to get around him quickly if they can.
Solberg, a little bit of a bobble as he tucked up behind Parsons. That middle sector looks like Parsons is struggling a little bit. This guy's really closing up on him.
I was just going to give a quick update on Kevin Miller there in 12th. Unfortunately, right when I was going to do it, he threw it off track. He finds himself in 15th.
Prieto side by side with Palacio. Prieto may have made the... Ooh, they get into bang some doors, and Prieto loses out on that one as he falls back to 9th. Mikey Monahan gets by. Wow.
I think I think Andres may have come back in toward the corner a little bit too much there, but that happens sometimes. You gotta try to maximize your position when you can, and come up a little short.
Yeah, well, that's only helping out Parsons. The more these guys battle, the better it is for him. But Parsons, as cool as they come, he's dealt with this since the beginning. This guy's a veteran, and he's not going to let these guys get into his head.
Certainly, if they get a good run, he's not going to challenge them too much. But as the laps do wind down here, each lap he's going to be a little bit more concerned about holding on to those positions.
Parsons now has his teammate up ahead. It shouldn't be an issue getting by that guy. Ooh, as Parsons getting in the back of him, and ooh!
Oh!
And now Monahan on the inside of Parsons, but doesn't gives that position back. But wow, that's allowed Solberger to get by. Incredible.
Well, that is rare. That is rare. See a team contact there, Al.
I think that was just these guys came up on Houston so quickly, and he tried a little too cautious there. I think kind of caught Parsons off guard.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
Now, Andres takes a look on the inside of Palacio. These guys are going back at it. Incredible action.
I think Andres got a bit of speed, but
he definitely
Aaron Parsons and
he got the run on him for that pass on Palacio. So nice job by Andres. These guys just going back and forth. Now he's taking a look on the inside of Parsons. I believe that was Mikey Monahan that Andres went by.
so what are we looking at here? About 5 minutes to go here, Al. Laps are winding down.
As this battle rages on. Oh, now Prieto on the inside. It looks like Parsons runs wide. That allows Andres to get by. Wow. And Poel now coming up on these guys, looking to put them all a lap down. Monahan going to take a look on the inside of Parsons. Looks like he's going to make it work. Like he's got the run on him. And wow, Aaron falls back to 9th. Incredible.
Yeah, it's really not too surprising. Aaron is well off the pace of these guys in front. I almost wonder if he didn't slap on another set of intermediates. But of course, he is carrying just a ton of weight as well, so never helps. A quick update, Nick Johnston is now into the points running 14th, and with Aaron getting knocked back a few positions, that'll salvage some of those points Nick figured to lose should they run this way to the end.
And a couple minutes left to go on this one. Solberger hanging on to the 5th spot.
Well, I'm taking a look at The gap here from first to second, and it has come down dramatically all of a sudden. Rich Roman picking up about 2.5 seconds over the last couple, 3-4 laps. So I'm not sure if there's a little mistake by Poel in front or if it's just pure pace by Rich, but shouldn't be a problem for David as the time's rapidly expiring here.
Yeah, as long as he keeps it clean this last lap in a quarter here, Poel should be all set. Looks like it should be the last lap of this race.
Boy, in the meantime, John Solberg and Esteban Palacio are really going at it over that fifth spot with Andres
Palacio
lurking.
Just took that position away from Solberger. And Solberger looking to answer. And Andres hanging on right there.
Well, keep it together, keep it clean there, fellas. Boy, that tension can run high when you're running out of laps.
As those guys continue to battle on, we're on board with David Poel. Solberger continues to hang on to that position.
Looks like 1:43 on the clock here, Al, so another lap plus the one they're running, I reckon. Wow, what a race. Thiago Canola, by the way, has yet to pit. I hope he knows that he does have to come in for service. He will have to come in for service of some type. I hope that he knows that.
The only thing I can think of is he pitted early in this race and we just didn't catch it.
Well, no, I'm looking at the timing and scoring, and he has not come into the pits.
He is now.
And
there
here
he
comes.
Wow.
But still, figures only to give up one position, so in the end, very nice run for Thiago, and made whatever tires he was on work, so I suspect he was able to make the engines work.
Canola, Breto really close there, getting into the side of Solberger. Canola rejoins in fourth. Andres taking a look on the inside. Meanwhile, David Poel about to win this race. A couple corners left yet for him, but still a tremendous drive from Poel, given the conditions to start this race. Led from the onset and really never looked back. Great job by Poel. And that'll do it. Tremendous job. Rich Roman's going to finish second. Excellent job by Rich. And the fill-in role for Canavan, Chris Moses. I'm sure he's going to be ecstatic with this third place finish, considering the problems he had early on in this race.
That's a great veteran drive after those problems that he had. Fantastic. Well done, Chris.
Canola's going to take fourth. Esteban fifth. Monahan sixth, I'm sorry. Andre seventh. Looks like Solberger didn't see what happened there. We were focusing on the leader there at the end, but not sure if Solberger made a mistake, but that's allowed Monahan to get by. Andres got by.
Well, still a nice run for John Solberger. You know, he was up there, he was fighting. The guys behind there toward the end had a little bit more pace on him. Nice drive for John.
Quite a bit of damage on the front of that Panos for Andre, so looks like there was some contact there. Solberger, the last man on the lead lap to take 8th. So needless to say, I'm sure Solberger a little disappointed where he ended up, but we'll have to look at the replay and see what happened there to him. But great job by Solberger.
I can't wait to fire up this replay. I got to tell you that right now, Alan. I'll tell you something else. This is flat going to make this a new championship. Nick Johnston is not going to lose out tons of ground to Aaron Parsons. Thiago Knoll and Chris Moses will pick up a ton of ground, however, on Aaron Parsons. David Poel with this win is going to jump right up in the mix. It's suddenly a 5-way battle coming down to the last 3 races, Al. Love it.
Yep, just like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. It's going to be, this championship race is going to be tighter than ever. See if we can find David Poel here, have a word with him. Unfortunately, I don't see him on comms at the moment.
Really?
Oh, there he is, sorry. Hi, David. David Poel, it's Al and Brad. You copy?
Yep. Hey guys, how you doing?
Very good. Great job tonight, David. Tremendous run. You led from the start of this race. You really outclassed the field tonight. How were the conditions for you? And just tell us how your race went.
Oh, thanks guys. It was tricky for sure. I started on intermediates, and I don't know what the guys behind me had, but I don't know. I don't know how much faster those guys could have gone, but I was just really tiptoeing the first 3 or 4 laps, kind of just to feel it out and see what we had. And then from there, just kind of ran my own race. I was lucky not to be under a lot of pressure the whole time, and I think the guys behind me may have had some little mishaps or offs or whatever, and so just kept it steady and clean. I was nervous till the end, though, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and you know, we actually saw most of the field go off behind you. It seemed like you were the only guy that really was given a ton of respect to the conditions. You think there's any possibility you could have done as well starting on the hard wets tonight?
Hard to say. I mean, the intermediates, I don't know how much more grip they would have had. It was really kind of just unsure of the conditions. I never really was. I didn't know. I had only done a handful of wet laps here, so I didn't really know what the track would be like when it was wet. So I figured it was going to dry out, and so I took intermediates. And I think those wets would have started overheating pretty bad by lap 5 or 6, I would guess.
So,
I can't remember when it went to damp, but it wasn't too far into the race.
So tell us what you do on your stop. Did you stay on the inters, or did you go with the slicks?
Nope, went to slicks. I was lucky in the channel I was in Ventrilo. Dave Rowley stopped early, so credit to him, and he kind of gave us all the thumbs up for the medium slick tires, which was absolutely the right choice. They had I was probably a second and a half faster as soon as I had those tires on. And as long as you stayed, it was still pretty tricky if you got just a little bit offline. So still nervous moments, but as long as you stayed in the groove, that was definitely the way to go.
Well, you certainly ran a tremendous race, and big congratulations to you, Dave. And nice way to bounce back after Slovakia 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Glad to finally get one in the bag.
Yep, and thanks again, and good job, and we'll see you next week at Imola.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Well, there you have it, David Poel, winner here tonight at Oschersleben at what was a crazy race. Guys going off all over the place, conditions catching people off guard, and the only guy to really get a handle on it was Poel, and he did a tremendous job tonight, Brad.
Yeah, well, as mentioned, it is extremely tricky track at the best of times, particularly on the limit. And you know, these guys, you get in a particular habit of driving the track a certain way, and maybe pushing your advantages where you can take them. And maybe they had that thought more than just trying to keep the thing on track, as mentioned. So, you know, that's the way it was. It was exciting for us to see and try to stay on top of the action. And Imola's track, all these guys know really well. Not going to be so different out there. The times are going to be tight again, and be another spirited affair.
Yeah, well, we look forward for sure to next week, and hopefully everybody can join us for Imola. Once again, we'll be back for qualifying in the race. And thank you, Brad, for once again broadcasting with me tonight. And thanks again to everybody who tuned in. So we'll see you next week from Imola. Until then, take care.